they even prepare war against him. Therefore night shall be unto you, and ye shall not have a vision. It shall be dark unto you, that ye shall not divine. The sun shall go down over the prophets, and the day shall be dark over them. Then shall the seers be ashamed, and the diviners be confounded. Yea, they shall all cover their lips, for there is no answer of God. But truly I am full of power by the Spirit of Yahweh, and of judgment, and of might, to declare unto Jacob his transgressions and Israel his sins. That's what a lot of prophecy is about. It's rebuke, and it's if they don't get right, they'll tell you what your sins are. The Lord will show them, what's going on. But instead, in a lot of the churches, they just want good stuff. I prophesy a Cadillac. You're going to get a Cadillac.
That's what that verse up there says, where they say they prophesy peace and all this stuff. It's a lie.
Yeah. Well, right now, they say they prophesy there's going to be peace, and you're going to prosper and have lots of bucks.
And you'll be raptured out of here, taken away.
Life. Yeah, and then you're going to be raptured out.
So no worries, right? You're good.
Exactly. Yep.
But it's it says, they'll cry unto Yahweh, but He will not hear them.
Mm-hmm. And they're going to wonder why.
And they always do. Why haven't you heard? Why doesn't He answer my prayers? Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Hear this, I pray you, you heads of the house of Jacob, and princes of the house of Israel, that abhor judgment, and pervert all equity. They build up Zion with blood, and Jerusalem with iniquity. The heads thereof judge for reward, and the priests thereof teach for a hire, and the prophets thereof divine for money. Yet will they lean upon Yahweh and say, Is not Yahweh among us? None evil can come upon us. They say, evil can come upon us.
That's exactly what's going on.
Number. Therefore shall Zion for your sake be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountains of the house as the high places of the forest.
See, why can't anybody just read this chapter and see how plain as day it is? I mean, it's so plain. I mean, we're gonna read verse 3, and it doesn't make. Who also eat the flesh? Oh my goodness, why would they be eating flesh? Ooh. It's nothing to do with that. By the way, your camera got really weird.
Did it?
Yeah, you're like green lines right now.
Really? Let me put it on hold and then bring it back.
Okay.
You look fine.
And you're back.
Back.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just and it says even in verse one of those verses, it says in that day. It's not talking about the day that it was being prophesied in. People think, well, prophecy and stuff is all for back then. It's fine. No. This whole verse, this whole chapter is going on right now.
Yep, the whole thing.
And the last part talking about how the priests and stuff are doing it for money.
Mm-hmm.
Teach for hire, prophets thereof divine for money. That's all it is.
Sure do. They prophesy good things and peace and safety, and then they say, okay, it's time to take up offering.
Yeah. Got to give it to brother such and such because he came all the way from such and such to preach you this wonderful message of hope and glory and prophecy that he got from the Lord. Yeah.
Well, it's just like that one church I went to. I remember.
But they're like, I got a prophecy from the Lord, and John 3:16 says that you're gonna be saved. It's prophecy.
That's a
What?
prophecy, yeah.
Yeah, they do stuff like that. It's weird. Or they'll just take something totally out of context. This verse says you're gonna be blessed with $1 million. Prophecy.
Give some to them.
And then they'll say, and they'll get real serious, like, I heard it from God Himself. Getting you better listen. That's dangerous. I mean, oh my goodness.
Oh yeah, but they do. They say that. And also, this one church I went to, I remember, this guy, he's like, the next service, prophetess, something. Well, no, I think he said prophet, but it was a woman. So he didn't say prophetess, which is weird. He said prophet. Like, prophet so-and-so is going to come and everything, and she'll have a message for each one of you. And then he made sure that he mentioned that she had, 3, I don't know if he said BMWs or something,
You know what it is?
Cadillac.
There's different kinds of people. You have, the intellectual people. Here's how I think of it. The intellectual type people, the logical people, they get into, the Baptist churches and, The lesser ones with there are like more focused on like logical stuff, and then they have doctor, pastor, went to 18 schools with 18 doctorates and blah 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 blah, came to say this big message, and they're like, ooh, Then you have like the emotional people that get real caught up in like the spiritual, like charismatic stuff, like prophetess, and like, oh, they get caught on the titles and they're like, oh, the Spirit of the Lord, and then they're taking the two things and they're taking whatever it is because that's what their big drive is. You know what I mean? Like, there are people that get caught up in like emotional, charismatic stuff, and they get lost in the stuff that's going on and don't get truth. And the same thing with the people that think a lot in their brain. They get all caught up in titles and scientific documents and things like that, and like, oh, it's got to be the truth, But they don't ever look at this. They don't ever look at the Bible itself.
No, they don't.
To get the real meat. And, we talked about it. In the spirit of who? The Spirit of Yahweh.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see when you get going like that.
Well, look at this next one, where it starts in 4. It starts right where it is, right where we're at.
Yep.
Micah 4. But in the last days it shall come to pass that the mountain of the house of Yahweh shall be established in the top of the mountains, and it shall be exalted above the hills, and people shall flow unto it. And many nations shall come and say, Come, and let us go up to the mountain of Yahweh, and to the house of the God of Jacob, and he will teach us of his ways, and we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of Yahweh from Jerusalem. I wonder what law it's talking about. And he shall judge among many people, and rebuke strong nations afar off. And they shall beat their swords into plowshares, and their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war any more. But they shall sit every man under his vine, and under his fig tree. And none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of Yahweh of hosts hath spoken it. For all people will walk every one in the name of his God, and will walk in the name of Yahweh. And we will walk in the name of Yahweh, our God, forever and ever. In that day, saith Yahweh, will I assemble her that halteth, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted. And I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation. And the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth, even forever. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. It says, and the Lord, which is Yahweh, shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth and forever. Who? What does the New Testament say? Yeshua, Jesus, will reign